Welcome to Ink and Bones. My name is Jaden, and in this video, we're going to be doing a sketch layout and pencils for page 13 of my creator-owned Halloween comic book. Let's get drawn. Alright, so page 13, the backstory for this page is that it's the end of Halloween night, all the trick-or-treating is done. Patti and Jack have now gone to the park to count their treats, and as they're counting, they hear some crying in the woods. They go to investigate. They see that it's this little boy, Timmy, and he's crying and sad, and come to find out a bunch of bullies stole his candy. And before we get started, the beginning of the layout and the end of the layout, they're just not on my computer anymore, and I guess a good portion of the pencils are just not there in the screen recording, so apologies for that. But with that out of the way, let's get started with the layout sketch while I go over the objectives that I want to hit for this page. Alright, so the three things that I mainly want to focus on here are storytelling, character, and ambiance. For storytelling, I mainly just want to see if these panels flow together, it's a cohesive story. Without words, can you tell what is happening? And does the camera angles that I choose improve, lessen, or not really add much to the scene? For character, what I mean is, how is their acting? Do I portray that in their movements, in their body language, in their facial expressions, the overall character of how these characters are acting? And for ambiance, considering we are in a Halloween book on Halloween night, do I do enough to convey the fact that it is Halloween? Super quick for the layout, I know, I am bummed, but let's go ahead and get into the pencils. So let's go ahead and tackle the storytelling. Fortunately for this page, the environment was already established in the previous page, and if you would like to see the pencils for that, the video was up on my channel. But besides the environment being set up, when it comes to doing layouts, my main focus is where do I put the camera? Because yes, I want to show the characters saying the lines that they are given, but what is the most interesting way to depict that? And then that's where the camera angles come in. For example, a low angle looking up at someone could perceive them as powerful, dominant, or if a camera is too high, really far away looking down on someone, we can perceive that person as small or inferior. And I actually use that second example and a little bit of the first one, but mainly that second one of feeling small and inferior at the bottom middle panel of this page. We're actually looking down on Timmy as he's crying out into the woods, why would anyone take his candy, and blah blah blah. So the angles can sell a story just as much, sometimes even more, than the expression on their face. And again, when I mean character, I'm talking about the mannerisms, body language, facial expressions, stuff like that. And on this page, I think the character acting is the special sauce, for this page at least. You know, because in this scene, Timmy is sad, a bunch of bullies stole his candy. So first and foremost, does Timmy look sad? His body language suggests that he is sad. I have him sitting alone. He's kind of got his knees to his chest, almost in a sort of fetal-like position. Every expression on his face, his eyebrows are kind of turned up. You know, they're pushed up in the middle, making him look sad. His overall energy should show that he is bummed out. And then on the flip side of that, we have our hero characters, you know, Patti and Jack. They are taking the role of concerned parent, essentially. You know, I have them consoling Timmy. I have, you know, their hands are on his shoulder. They're very sad. Their shoulders are slumped. I have their, you know, their eyebrows are upturned. They're looking sad. Pretty much, I'm just trying to convey that Timmy is sad, Patti and Jack are concerned. And in this scene, especially, another thing that really can take that character acting and maybe just the overall vibe of everything, take it to the next level, is the lighting and the ambiance. So let's go ahead and get into that section now. So what's nice about the light source that I have in this scene is that it is practical. So a practical light is anything that the character can use in the scene, sometimes even as a prop. Now, before I added these lights, it would have just been them in a moonlit woods, which would have looked cool. It would have had some bluish hues to it, maybe some purples thrown in there. But I don't know if it nails the objective of, does this look like Halloween? Does it feel like Halloween? Might feel spooky, but it doesn't feel like Halloween. And so with using these practical lights, like I said, our characters can use them as props. And in one of these panels, I actually have, or technically two of them, but I have Timmy holding one of the little orange glowing balls that are draped through the grass. I actually have him holding that close to his face, just giving the panel a little bit more oomph. You know, it's almost like he's at a campfire, or it's just really giving him the spotlight while he says the lines that he's saying. And actually what gave me the idea to wrap the trees was on this Halloween, my wife and I went to Disneyland, and especially in the Haunted Mansion section, they had all the trees wrapped in like orange lights, some were purple and orange, jack-o'-lanterns were everywhere. Everything just felt like a Halloween town, and I really wanted to put that into the book. Let's go through and make sure that I hit all 3 objectives while the time lapse wraps up. So for storytelling, do these panels flow together? I'd say yes. The camera angles aren't very jarring. I think they do add a little bit to certain scenes, and I don't break the 180-degree rule. You know where everyone is at in the scene. It doesn't seem jarring or confusing. Without words, can you tell what is happening? And I would say yes. We see a kid who's alone. These 2 other kids walk up and they're showing that they are feeling for him, and then we get to see Timmy, kind of looking a little bit in despair, and that's without any words spoken. So I would say yes, we hit the mark on that one. And then do the camera angles lessen, improve, or not really add much to the scene? I would say they do just okay. We get to see an interesting angle of Patti popping out the tree, of Jack popping out the other side. We have the cool top-down looking shot of us kind of in the God mode, in the God view perspective, Timmy crying out to the woods. And then I think just a really cool angle of Timmy holding that orange ball and it glowing on him, and it just a little bit more interesting than just a straight on shot. So I would say we got about a low B. We got like a B minus B, I'd say, on the camera angle portion. And then for character, does their expression and their body language, does that convey the emotions that I'm trying to show? Kind of doubling for the can you tell what's going on without words? I would say yes for the same things that I mentioned before. And then ambiance. Does this look like a Halloween book? Yes. We got lights in the trees, orange and purple lights when the coloring gets done. Jack-o'-lanterns in the grass, spooky wood setting, nighttime. Yeah, I would say it feels and it looks like Halloween to me. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the final image. We got Timmy sitting alone, the jack-o'-lantern in the immediate foreground. You can kind of see his smile, just a little shred of it. We got Patti popping out the one side, Jack popping out the other, saying their lines, them consoling little Timmy as he's sad. And then we got Timmy here holding the orange ball, asking a question. I think he's asking, they were so scary, they were so mean, how could anyone bully on this Halloween? And then that's him kind of shouting up to the sky as well. And then at the end, that last panel, he puts on his Jason mask as he's, innocence is lost for little Timmy here. He's gonna go get some revenge. That about wraps it up for the page 13 pencils. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing, slash that like button. And if you want to see like a quick recap of the pages that I penciled so far, the video is linked right here. But until then, this has been another episode of Ink and Bones. I've been your host, Jaden, and I will see you on the next page.